Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to do a Q&A, and yeah, I really want to say like welcome back to another studio vlog, but it's a Q&A today. There are going to be some art related questions and some other like get to know me questions as well. I asked for questions on Instagram, by the way, so make sure you follow me on Instagram. I actually have two. We're getting off topic already, but I have one Instagram for my illustration account, another for my shop. They'll be in the description. If you're new, hi, my name's Emma. I'm an illustrator. I also have an Etsy shop, and yeah, like I said, I usually make studio vlogs where I show kind of like the behind the scenes of running a small business. Yeah, so I'm gonna get into the Q&A. If you want to draw at the same time or do some cooking or cleaning or whatever you want to do, then go ahead. I'm not going to put anything on the screen, so it's just going to be my face. So Baya, who goes by a Penis Illustrator, said, what is your background regarding studies? I always loved art. It was, yeah, my favourite subject at school, and I did art for like A levels as well. Yeah, so in the UK generally you do art until like year 9, and then you kind of choose whether or not you want to like carry on for like GCSE and A level. I didn't actually do so well in my A level as I did in my GCSE. I think because by the time I got to sixth form we had a little bit more kind of freedom, and we had kind of like quite a few free periods, which was time that we probably were meant to be working on stuff, and I don't feel that I was very disciplined with that. And also I think I was just going through kind of stage where I was getting to like to the end of school, and I was just kind of thinking, oh, I don't know what to do, I don't know if I want to go to uni or not. I worked for a bit, and then I decided that I did want to go to uni, so I went to uni a couple of years later. I did an art foundation course first. I think most courses you either do an art foundation or you do like a kind of year 0, and then I did an illustration course after that, so that was like 4 years at uni. But yeah, I actually filmed a whole video that was about uni and like the different projects that I did, so I will leave that in the card. Is it there? I think it's there. Baya also said, major struggles you faced since you went full-time with art. I feel like most of the struggles that I've had have kind of been the same struggles from when I was doing this and I had a part-time job, and that's kind of just like all the self-doubt and the imposter syndrome, and the kind of there being so many different things that you want to try, and like so many different kind of decisions, and just kind of thinking, I don't know if I'm like going down the right path. All the different sides to like running a business as well, which like they're all things that I really enjoy. Sometimes I don't enjoy writing like the sort of captions and stuff for Instagram, because sometimes I feel like I'm better visually than I am at like writing stuff down. I don't know, it kind of depends what sort of mood I am, but sometimes I feel like the kind of keeping on top of the social media is a bit of a challenge for me. But yeah, I'd say one of the challenges is the fact that now I look at other people that are doing this part-time, or they're doing it kind of full-time, but they also have like another job as well, and I'm thinking, how do they get so much done? And then I just kind of start comparing myself to them. So that is kind of a struggle, the fact that I should have more time now, but I kind of feel like I always run out of time, and there's always like so many different things that I want to do, and just trying to like squeeze it all in. But yeah, part of that is also at the moment I don't want to work weekends. I want to like take my weekends with Tom, and I think I was working weekends a lot more, and like holidays and stuff as well. But yeah, I really like having my weekends with Tom. Favorite part of what you do? I really like making YouTube videos. I really like designing new products. Packing's really fun. Getting new products and like seeing something that you've designed for the first time is really, really exciting. and then when other people like that thing and other people want that, that's that's like really good. And also getting to know other artists as well. Like since I've done YouTube, I've like made lots more like arty friends. I had lots of book related questions. Lee Jessie Art says, what are you reading? Any book suggestions? Dark Bloom Illustration says, what are some of your favourite books? So I'm currently listening to The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and Matt Haig is one of my favourite authors. So yeah, some of my favourite books are his books. I love How to Stop Time, which is, I'm sure I've mentioned it before actually, it's about a man who has this condition where he just ages really, really slowly. So he's kind of essentially immortal, and it just kind of looks at his time kind of like throughout history. I also really like The Humans, which is by Matt Haig as well, and that's about an alien who comes down and he has like this mission to like bump this guy off, and then ends up like taking over his identity, but then kind of like loves being a human. Yeah, I also really love The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, which I kind of would describe this as like a cross between like a whodunit and like Groundhog Day. And yeah, it's kind of strange. It's a little bit sci-fi, a little bit kind of murder mystery, and this guy, he wakes up, doesn't remember who he is, and he has to solve this murder, and every time he wakes up he's in like a different body of like the different characters that are all there, and he has to sort of work out like who did it. Growing up, I loved Alice in Wonderland, and I loved The Borrowers. Oh, I loved Paul Jennings. Actually, let me go and show you some of the Paul Jennings books because they had the best covers. So these are Paul Jennings books, and I absolutely loved these, and they were all like short stories, but they were kind of like really kind of quirky, weird stories. So some of the covers were really cool because they had two covers. This one's a little bit freaky. Ready? Ah. But yeah, I loved these stories so much. And he actually came to my primary school once as well, so we got to meet him, and that, yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, let me know if you read any of these books, or if you watched Round the Twist, because they made like a TV show that was based off loads of his stories. So I have a question here that says, I get creative anxiety and find it hard to practice. Any tips on how to structure practice time? I don't feel that I am actually naturally very organised or very structured at all. I feel that it's something I really want to be good at, and I sometimes go through stages where I'll be like, okay, let's set myself like a plan, and on Monday I'll do this, like, and I have like a couple of structures in place. Like, for example, usually my packing days are on Monday and Thursday, and I've just recently started drawing in my sketchbook every Friday as well, so that's kind of a recent thing. So yeah, I guess structures like that, you could pick a day of the week, or you could pick like a time to do it. Yeah, I'm not sure if I've experienced creative anxiety, but I've definitely, you know, had the kind of fear of the blank page, particularly if I'm drawing something and I'm planning on showing it to people, or if I'm just recording it for YouTube. Even though I know I've got the control on like editing whether you see it or not, that kind of puts a bit more pressure. Yeah, I guess kind of take the pressure off yourself, like maybe draw something and, you know, say, oh, I'm not actually gonna like post this or anything, I'm just gonna draw something for fun. You could maybe give yourself like a shorter amount of time, because I found that like when I've been to like life drawing classes and stuff, they always kind of gave us some like warm-up exercises. We started off with like quicker ones, like quicker poses, and then towards the end of the class we'd do like a longer one, and that was really good, because I find that when you're given a shorter amount of time, you don't have time to sort of question what you're doing. You're just kind of trying to get like the shape down as quickly as possible. I know some people really like to have an ugly sketchbook, so that's something you could try. Again, takes the pressure off sort of thinking, oh, this has to be good. Yeah, I guess just practicing more, which is something that I'm trying to do, like do more stuff in my sketchbook. And like I mentioned in my last studio vlog where my owl painting didn't come out quite how I wanted it to, I've been trying to like remember that a sketchbook is a place where like it doesn't need to go right first time, and the whole idea is that it is a practice. I think Yoga with Adrian was saying this the other day. She was saying that you don't have to do a move right the first time. The whole idea is you are doing a practice and you're kind of like working towards something. Sorry It's Gabe said, what's your favourite plant that you own? So I really love all those little tiny plants. I'll try and work out what video it was that I unpacked them, and I will put it in the cards and also in the description. They've all been growing lots as well. I really love, we've got like a tiny monstera plant, and that has just been growing so well, and it keeps getting new leaves, and I really like watching them like uncurl. We've also got like a huge pothos as well. I think it's a devil's ivy that we've got, and when we first got it I thought that we were going to kill it because some of the leaves were going yellow, and then we realized that actually it doesn't like too much daylight, and we were overwatering it as well. I try to be a good plant mum. Occasionally I water too much or I don't water enough. We have a couple of sad looking plants, but we have lots that we've managed to keep alive as well, so we're doing better. Yeah, a couple of people asked me how I am, so yeah, I think generally I'm doing well. I have sort of moments where I kind of think about the whole like COVID situation that we're all in, and I kind of in some ways can't believe how long it's been. I try and keep myself busy, and we have like lots of Zoom calls like with my family and stuff as well. But yeah, generally I'd say that I'm feeling really happy at the moment. It's just been snowing lots, which has been really nice, and a really nice like change, and me and Tom had a lovely like late night walk in the snow recently, and that felt like really nice and magical. And yeah, it's kind of a nice change, especially when every day does feel a little bit like Groundhog Day. It's kind of nice to mix it up a little bit. Artie Liza says, who would your top 5 dream dinner guests be, living or historically allowed? I have no idea. Who would I want? Well, right now we can't have any dinner guests. So I think if I could magically have any dinner guests right now, I'd probably have my parents. If I'm only allowed 5, do I count as well, like 5 extra ones? So extra than me and Tom, I'm guessing. So I'd have my parents, and then I guess we'd have Tom's parents, and then one more person. I quite like my sister. If we're not talking about who would you actually like to see and think about some famous people. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but if you've ever watched the IT Crowd, the guy who plays Moss, Richard, I don't know how to pronounce his surname. Iode? I think I'm saying that very wrong. I think he's really funny, so I'd like him. I'm kind of thinking about like some YouTubers that I like. I really like Rachel Matesy, who does all the like vintage and cosplay things. I think she's lovely and also really funny. Oh, maybe David Attenborough, that would be really cool. I really like Sarah Michelle Gellar as well, because then I could talk to her about Buffy. Tabitha Brown, because she is just the loveliest person. I love following her on Instagram, and her food looks amazing, so maybe she could come and bring something to like add to like the dinner spread as well. That would be good. I've got a couple of YouTube questions. So Loretta Bell Art says, how long did it take you for your channel to start growing? And Liz V Art says, how do you handle self-doubt when it comes to YouTube? So I think it took a really long time for my channel to start growing. Have I been doing it 2 years, or maybe even coming up for 3 years? I think. Yeah, it was only last year that I actually monetized my channel and started earning some money through YouTube, which has been very lovely. Like, it's not mega bucks, but yeah, I really appreciate it. But yeah, and obviously I'm not like the biggest channel ever. I'm still like a very tiny fish. But yeah, it's nice to see like a little bit of growth. The main thing that I really like is just having people like comment on my videos. Okay, my alarm's going. I've got like a little art date with my friend in 10 minutes. Yeah, so the main thing that I really like is, yeah, just getting like comments and seeing the same people comment. You kind of, yeah, just like get a connection with that person. But yeah, I do remember the first 100 was a struggle, the first 1,000 was another struggle. It's not like this channel has skyrocketed at all in any way, but it, you know, I'm growing. Yeah, I don't think you're really here for like YouTube tips exactly. Although I made a video about how to make studio vlogs, so if you want to learn how I suggest making studio vlogs, you can watch that video. But this channel, the whole point isn't about like how to grow really quickly. Yeah, and then Liz was saying, how do you handle self-doubt when it comes to YouTube? Yeah, so this is something that I definitely felt at the beginning starting out, because I thought, who's gonna want to like listen to me? Who cares what I have to say? But yeah, I think for a long time, because I was like watching other YouTubers, sometimes you can kind of like idolize them, and then you sort of think, oh, would I have like anything to offer? I think like we can all learn sort of different things from different people, and like knowledge that I have is going to be different to knowledge that somebody else has. So like we can kind of all teach each other different skills, and yeah, there's so many things that I'm still learning. Yeah, I kind of feel that I am on like this kind of journey, and so I'm always like learning new things and I want to kind of like pass them on. And so that's the kind of approach that I took with it. If I kind of felt that I had to be somebody that had all the answers and stuff, I think that would give me kind of more self-doubt, because I don't have the answers. So that's kind of how I deal with that, is by just saying, I don't know entirely what I'm doing, but the things that I've worked out, that I will like pass on to you. And also like most of my content is studio vlogs, so I kind of, you know, share the highs, share the lows. It's not necessarily like a tutorial or a how-to, it's just kind of like, this is what I got up to. I hope that makes sense. Okay, I think we have time for one more question, because I really need to go, because I have an art date with my friend in a minute, so I will answer one more question. Rosie from Pin and Inco says, would you like to do art for a board game, and what theme would you do? So yeah, I think that actually does sound really cool. And if you don't know, me and Tom have a huge board game collection. We're like quite geeky board game fans. I really love the game Dixit, which already has like beautiful artwork, but yeah, I think I'd quite like to do a sort of game along those themes, or like if they wanted any like new artwork for that. If you've never played Dixit and you're a fan of art or like games, I would definitely recommend it, because yeah, the cards are just beautiful, and I haven't played it for ages because you can't actually play it with two people. So I would recommend if you have more than two people in your house. Me and Tom actually did try to play Dixit, just the two of us. We did a video where we like, it was the beginning of lockdown, and we were playing some different games. Again, I will leave that in the cards and in the description if you want to go and watch that. It's kind of amusing. Well, I think it's amusing anyway. Maybe I could do a tea themed, I don't know, maybe you're a waitress and you're serving lots of different tea, or maybe you have to collect different types of tea. Maybe it could be an Alice in Wonderland themed game. That would be kind of cool. I don't think I'm actually clever enough to come up with a game like with all the kind of mechanics of the game. If I did come up with a game, it would basically just be ripping off another game or like a snakes and ladders type thing. I don't think I'm clever enough to come up with the game, but doing that artwork for somebody else's like cool idea would be quite cool. Maybe in the future I could take a game and do some artwork for it. That might actually be kind of a cool thing to put in my portfolio, or to just do for fun. Maybe you'll see that in a video in the future. But yeah, I have been rambling on. Yeah, I'm gonna stop this video here, but I hope you've enjoyed this Q&A. Yeah, if you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments, and then yeah, maybe I'll do another Q&A in the future. And I hope you've had a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and yeah, I will see you next Wednesday for another studio vlog. Okay, bye. I just clicked my shoulder really loudly. Oh my god. Okay, I'm so rambly. What do I want to say? How can I say it in a concise way? Yeah, I also really love The Humans, which is also by Matt Haig. And no, it's not is it just Human? Is it The Humans? Human? There's Humans, the TV show, which is about robots. That's something else. I think it's The Humans. Oh, I can't do it. It's stuck. Put them in the comments in blah 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 blah. My camera stopped recording just when I was kind of getting into the swing of things.